Hi and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be doing an astrological analysis and prediction on the UK general election that's taken place on the Gemini full moon on December the 12th, 2019. The South Node, Saturn, Neptune, Venus, Pluto and Jupiter are all in Capricorn, providing plenty of grounding Earth energy. In both the 1066 and 1801 birth dates of the UK, the Sun is in Capricorn. The UK is a country built on tradition, getting things done in spite of emotions. The Capricorn influence in both the 1066 and 1801 charts for the UK created a nation with status, wealth and class at the centre of its ideology. For the UK solar energy, the Sun is firmly rooted in keeping the status quo, holding on to traditional values. Capricorn and Saturn energies add an emotional coldness to the UK's collective psyche also. Venus is in Capricorn in the 1066 mundane chart for the UK, whereas in the 1801 chart, when Ireland joined the UK, Venus is in Aquarius. Venus in Capricorn and Aquarius. Venus in Capricorn and Aquarius are known for their emotional stiffness, reservedness in expressing emotions and detachment. There are many significant aspects occurring in the zodiac on the 12th of December 2019 with the Gemini full moon. Some of the planetary aspects may indicate a victory for the status quo, i.e. the Conservatives. However, I feel that the seeds of change will still mean that if the Conservatives win, Labour will gain enough seats in the general election to still influence governmental policy. Uranus in Taurus over the next few years will ensure positive changes which will occur slowly but will come. There are many significant aspects occurring in the zodiac on this Gemini full moon on the 12th of December 2019. Some of the planetary aspects may indicate a victory for the status quo, Conservatives. However, I feel that the seeds of change will still mean that if the Conservatives win, Labour will gain enough seats in the general election to still influence governmental policy. Uranus is in Taurus over the next few years, which will slowly but surely bring change across governmental systems, in our family, in our homes, in our individual lives and so forth. I've got a video on Uranus. I have a video on Uranus in Taurus and what the 6 years will bring. If you want to go and check that out, please do, thank you. There is also a triple conjunction between Venus, Pluto and Saturn. Venus rules Taurus and Libra, which governs the 2nd and 7th house. The 2nd house is related to possessions, the things we own or the things that own us. Collective and personal security is the focus of this year's general election. The UK, as well as the world, has been in deep financial and political unrest since the banking crisis in 2008. The 7th house is the house of partnerships, ruled by Libra, and it deals with the intricacies of relationships, attraction, fairness, governments and contracts, lawsuits and negotiations. In this triple conjunction, Venus and Pluto bring in a feminine energy. Pluto imposes transformation, sometimes with turbulent force, and Pluto is often labelled the dark feminine due to the influence of Aries. And Venus is often referred to as soft feminine energy. The conjunction with Saturn brings in the cardinal energy of Capricorn and the restrictive energy of Saturn, which the UK has at its solar centre. Now, we could see this as all gloom and doom, but if we look deeper, we will see we have the harmonic tones of Venus finding grounding roots in Saturn on the Gemini full moon on December the 12th, as well as the UK general election, which is providing a solid foundation to any contracts or decisions made on this day. Venus is bringing in energies of beauty and harmony, whereas Pluto is contributing the energies of fixed, transformative decision making. At its highest manifestation, we must never forget that Scorpio and Plutonic Plutonic energy fights for justice for the collective, not for the self. So it's interesting that both Pluto and Saturn are both conjuncting Venus on this fateful day. The Gemini full moon in ancient times is seen as the moon of goodwill. The elements of earth and fire alternate with being the dominant elementary forces throughout the 12th of December. At 10 p.m., when voting closes, the earth element and mutable energies have the strong political system in the UK, further asserting my intuitions that Labour will either win outright or win a deciding vote, which may even see talks of a coalition between the Labour and Conservative governments being formed. At 2 a.m., when all the results will be counted on the 13th of December, the water element is strong, as well as the cardinal energy force, further asserting that whoever wins it will have an emotional impact on the UK's national psyche. Venus conjunction with Saturn indicates relationships or contracts can be formed that will stand the test of time. I must also mention that Jupiter is trining Uranus all day. Jupiter, as we know, is the planet of higher learning, higher morals and expansion, and Uranus the planet of awakening, eccentricity and innovation, working to bring in change. Now, don't get me wrong, change is not always good. It can be very painful, and collectively, we will be going through lots of emotions on December the 12th, 2019. The moon quincunxes Pluto, Venus, and Saturn on the 12th of December 2019. Now, we must remember that the quincunx represents planetary energies or zodiac signs that find it hard to work together. I mean, it can be hard to find a balance between tough love and setting boundaries. The moon is archetypically the mother figure in astrology. Tempers may flare up, things may start, and many situations and relationships will end in general on this day, outside of the political situation of the general elections. However, every cloud really does have a silver lining. I have gone through many experiences in my life that caused me a lot of emotional torment, but after the storm passes, we often see the blessing in even our most life-scarring moments. I see Venus and the moon as two sides of the same coin, yet we can sometimes find it hard to find the balance between what we want emotionally, i.e., for example, from a lover, or what we want physically from a lover, or what we may desire from a career, but what we need from a career, which is security, so that we can pay our bills and so forth, and all that jazz. And it is the same with the current political situation. Many voters may like the spending proposals Labour have pledged, but love the austerity in public spending which the Conservatives have been champions of. Voters may find it hard to determine to choose between what they want and what they need. Many voters may choose to vote Conservatives because they find it hard to risk the stability the Conservatives have offered after the economic crash financially. However, the influence of the moon on Saturn Capricorn may influence some voters to take the leap of faith, throwing their caution to the wind, trusting Labour to provide them with security and harmony they wish to see politically and economically. The Pluto and Moon interactions offering the energetic force to broaden horizons and go for difficult but much needed change. The election day will bring a few surprises. At 5:12 a.m, the elements in the skies are balanced and remain this way to about 7 a.m. Then we see a lack of the water element, which will remain throughout the day, highlighting the influence of the South Node, Saturn, Neptune, Venus, Pluto and Jupiter all being in Capricorn, which brings emotional reservedness to the day's events and grounding earth energy. Now I'm going to go into why I feel that it is going to be a Labour victory this election day using the sabian degree. So Saturn is in the 20th degree of Capricorn. The keynote for this sabian degree is a hidden choir singing. The symbol of the choir, which is made up of different individuals with different tones and vocal ranges, all working in harmony. to produce a cohesive sound for the benefit of the whole. The planetary energies of Saturn and Capricorn, which do offer love, but it's love in the most disciplined form, a love laced with honesty, stiff upper lipness and integrity, the love of doing the right thing for the collective good over one's own internal wishes. Emotions will run high throughout the day collectively, but individuals will be inclined to hold them in true British keep calm and carry on fashion. On December the 12th, 2019, it's like a portal is opening up between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning. Now, I mentioned in my other video where I discuss what the full moon in Gemini means for the individual. I recommend that you partake in meditation, so maybe you want to go and check that video out. And also subscribe to my channel. Thank you, as I will be uploading more videos more regularly now. And I'm going to start my Jupiter and Sagittarius series next week as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, subscribe. So between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m, all elements are in unison with each other, with the energies of Gemini, Scorpio, Sagittarius and Capricorn all being strong, creating a balanced chart. We have one zodiac sign from each element in the earth, but we also have abundance of mutable planetary energy as well as strong earth energy throughout the day on December the 12th, meaning that events will change a few times throughout the day. We may believe that, Labour's going to win at one moment, then we may believe it's the Conservatives or even the Lib Dems, so there will be a lot of emotional highs and lows. The South Node in Capricorn is in the 10th degree. The sabian symbol is a sailor feeding an albatross from his hand. In ancient times, sailors believed that it was bad luck to kill an albatross. Instead, many sailors would go out their way not to harm the birds. As I said earlier, the forming of an unexpected coalition after the events of Election Day, or at least a compromise between the leading contenders, Labours and Conservatives, which appears to come out of nowhere. So symbolically, we could see Labour's the albatross and the sailors Conservatives, and at the last minute the Conservatives may help Labour or vice versa. So instead of trying to destroy the albatross, the winning party will choose to work in unison with the close second. One party could lose, a party that thought it would definitely win, but the losing party will not turn to sourness. In turn, the losing party will support the winning one. The North Node in the chart indicates the direction an event or individual should take to bring about balance, growth and harmony in their life throughout their life cycle. So in this case, on the 12th of December, the North Node is in the 10th degree of Cancer. So we know that the North Node in Cancer indicates a need for nurturing, change and stability in the home environment. As a nation, the UK wants not only economical stability but security across all areas of their life, including healthcare, public services, education. Yet as a nation, the UK also wants business enterprise so that the economy can grow, bringing in funds to fund the public spending that is needed across education, looking after the elderly, hospital, NHS in general, mental health services, public services such as railway, water. Recent social media and news reports have lifted the lid on political favours large companies call in to keep their tax bills low, meaning in the majority of cases that it is the poverty of the majority that pays for the wealth of the few. Also, with the threat of companies that are currently registered to pay taxes in the UK threatening to move their assets elsewhere if Jeremy Corbyn gains power and goes ahead with his planned spending to readdress the inequalities in the UK, is lifting the veil on public awareness on how the political and business system truly work in the UK's cut. After all, we are all used to reports by now of high rents and the fact that most people are 2 paychecks away from being homeless in the UK. And it's also public knowledge that now you can even be working and having to use food banks and charities in order to survive. Fear could result in people voting for the Conservatives, the status quo, to stay. because they fear falling further into poverty under Labour. When I checked on the 24th of November 2019, the Conservatives were ahead in the polls by 10 points, but this gap has closed over the past 2 weeks, because 2 weeks ago they were about 20 to 30 points ahead of Labour. So on the face of it, it may seem that the fear of increasing poverty is keeping the general electorate in the UK clinging to the status quo. But as we can see, the gap has closed over the week, so meaning that even though there is fear that we may fall into more poverty as a nation, the ethical issues around tax avoidance and poor services for the elderly and the NHS may drive the UK electorate to vote for Labour. I predict a fresh and exciting change is going to happen, and the collective will react reserved in their emotions to the results of the general election, yet the results will be what's best for the nation as a whole. On election day, Uranus is in the 4th degree of Taurus, which is the sabian degree entitled the Rainbow Pots of Gold. As a nation, the UK may come to realise that there is more to life than wealth and status. The 4th degree of Taurus asks the UK as a nation to focus on the riches that are free in life, like family, and protecting the environment from further effects of global warming, linking material values with morals and in some way spiritual values. We are all aware of the dangers of global warming and how our mass human carbon footprint is continuously destroying the natural habitats of the world's animal and plant life. We have to find a middle way between our rampant need for luxury and overconsumption and the preservation of Earth, not only for the plant and animal but for human lives as well. Uranus is all about change, higher collective thinking over egotistical thinking. Uranus is the great awakener, and many people are waking up slowly but slowly, albeit in an earthly grounded way, to a fact that standards on earth need to work for all nations and not just for one country. Standards need to work for the majority of a nation, not just for a few individuals of that same nation. So also, we're beginning to see that making commodities of public services and natural resources such as water is humanity's most profound poverty. There's nothing wrong with the cardinal business enterprise of Capricorn, capitalism and tradition, yet we have to redress the extent we let our collective needs for profits and luxury drive our ambitions. As zealous profit making is destroying not only the UK economy, but economies and environments worldwide. Uranus is in Taurus until 2025. We will see many individuals and nations refocus their energies and efforts into caring for the environment and uplifting the living standards for all humans in the world. This is why Labour's manifesto is focusing so much on renationalisation, public utility companies, as they know that resources that should be free or subsidised mainly for those who are vulnerable in societies have been infiltrated and turned into big businesses that pays top bosses over-the-hilt bonuses, while the average consumer cannot afford their water, gas, electric or other utility bills. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with business, but there is something inherently wrong in making profits of someone else's misery. In the 1066 UK chart, the moon is in Pisces, and as we know, on the low side, the moon in Pisces can indicate addiction, substance abuse and stuff like that. Not only in the UK, but worldwide. So with the increase of attention to mental health across the world and interest in alternative therapies such as mindfulness, the world is slowly waking up to the importance of emotional health and wealth. In the highest order, the Piscean moon can indicate deep emotional compassion, mysticism and a feeling nature, hence the British love of the countryside and seaside trips, as it's how we express our collective need for emotional nourishment, albeit in a reserved way. Subtly, many who live in the UK, especially in the rural farming communities, recognise in a very down-to-earth way the importance of taking care of the environmental resources. With Uranus in Taurus for the next 5 years, this heightened interest in environmental issues will continue, with many UK citizens changing their lifestyles to help lower carbon emissions and global warming. In the 1801 UK mundane chart, the moon is in Cancer, backing up the fact that on the whole there is a collective need in the UK for emotional fulfillment. Due to the influence of Capricorn and the status quo, the collective psyche has become accustomed to expressing its emotions in a reserved The collective psyche has become accustomed to expressing its emotions in a reserved manner. However, if we follow the moon, which is the inner need of psyche, either being in Cancer or Pisces, we know that the UK has a deep emotional understanding at the inner level and are deeply emotional people. And the Earth is at the 25th degrees of Pisces on the 12th of December 2019. The black moon represents our primitive urges and subconscious collective desires. The keynote of the sabian degree of Pisces. The keynote of the 20th degrees of Pisces is the purging of a priesthood, which is an indicator that as a collective, the general electorate of the UK wish for change from the damaging status quo, seeking purification of the current political system, growing tired of the excess bonuses that are allowed to be paid out of public funds. To companies who also avoid paying the correct taxes, and the financial companies that are allowed to plummet public funds and avoid liability for their ill doings. Over the past 3 to 5 years, there has been an increase in the questioning of authority figures, especially their conduct whilst in the public eye or service. The full moon and the general election on the 12th of December 2019 in the UK is asking people to seek value and comfort in the truth. Although the truth may be out of your comfort zone, the truth is always the right path to take. The planet Earth itself is placed between the 20th and the 21st degrees of Gemini on the 12th of December. The 20th degree of Gemini is entitled A Tumultuous Labour Demonstration. We may just get Labour victory at the general election at the last minute. Regardless if Labour wins or not, the political system will undergo significant overhauls and steps towards increasing public spending and eliminating the waste of communal funds. Venus is in the 21st degree of Capricorn. The keynote for this sabian degree is a relay race, so as I mentioned before, the general election will not solve all the UK's problems all at once upon the announcement of the results. We will still have to wait about 6 months to a year to finalise Brexit if it does go ahead. Decision made by the general public on the 12th of December may mean further negotiations about manifesto promises may need to be had between 2 or more parties before the changes promising any of the parties' manifestos go ahead. A relay is a race that has many stages. For instance, Labour may win the election but may have to rely on cooperation from the Conservatives or another party to push their agendas through. However, the focus will be on what's best for the collective rather than what's best for a singular unit within the collective. I predict Brexit won't be finalised this year, and we may have to rely on further public votes for all of the details of Brexit to be completed. That's if it goes ahead. The goals polls may shift many times, as they're already done in this general election race. The Sun and Mercury are both in the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury is at the 5th degree and the Sun is at the 20th degree. Mutable fires are so strong throughout the electoral day, meaning that harsh words may be exchanged and the public may be moved by some of them, but this will not lead to outrageous actions of impulsive behaviour. 5th degree Sagittarius is entitled An Old Owl Sits Alone on a Branch of a Large Tree. The owl is a symbol of wisdom. Wisdom gained by keeping one's poise and not letting internal forces sway your opinion. Jeremy Corbyn has faced public backlash over not giving his views on Brexit. However, the measure of a great leader, in my estimation, is the ability to not reveal all your cards and not to make external pressure force you to comment on things you wish to keep close to your chest. I don't know why Jeremy is refusing to comment. Maybe it's because he knows that focusing on Brexit will overcloud the matters at hand. The pressing matters at hand is sorting out the many social issues we have in the UK, including the increase in youth crime, mental health issues, the NHS crisis, lack of adequate public spending, high rents and unemployment. Yes, Brexit will have to be decided, but there are many pressing matters to deal with. The sun remains in the 20th degree of Sagittarius all day. Man cutting through ice is the tagline for this degree. Fast development of previous slow events is the hallmark for this sabian degree. The sun in Sagittarius provides the impetus for commitment to be made that can bring around rapid changes to governmental policies. So astrologically, the energies are there for victory that focus on the needs of the majority rather than the wants of the few. A soar in the supply of public services and funds for those who need it the most. Mars remains in the 16th degree of Scorpio all day. A girl's face breaking into a smile is the keynote for this degree, indicating that there will be plenty of humour thrown into the events of the general election. As we know, the UK as well as people in the world have not had a lot to smile about lately. In fact, collectively, we have been in a place of misery. But this symbol assures that we will be given something to smile about by the time the general election is through on December the 12th, 2019. Obviously, we cannot take any one astrological degree to make a prediction, but looking at all the elements and positions of the other placements that I've talked about throughout this video, I believe that the general election will bring in well-needed changes into the UK political system. Neptune is in the 16th degree of Pisces. Now at the lowest level, Neptune represents the UK addictive habits, things we do to escape our reality and delusion. But at the highest ebb, the energy of Neptune can bring us to more significant realizations and provide vast source of inspiration, which is precisely what the 16th degree of Pisces is offering. But at the highest ebb, the energy of Neptune can bring us to more significant realizations and provide vast source of inspiration, which is precisely what the 16th degree of Pisces is offering, energies of ultra character refinement. Jupiter is in the 3rd degree of Capricorn, which indicates on a collective level UK citizens are seeking expansion in their political system. On the whole, there's a yearning for change and growth. Jupiter on the 12th of December is calling for transformation and the inclusion of new social ideas that have been overlooked by the current political system. Pluto in the 20th degree of Capricorn is indicating that a candidate that is seen as the general will have to accept defeat gracefully, another indicator that it will be a Labour victory at the polls. Whatever way the wind blows, the wind is definitely blowing in change. I believe that regardless if Labour wins or not on December the 12th, 2019, UK politics will be changed by the results of the election. So thanks a lot for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Also check out the video on what the Gemini full moon of goodwill means for each individual and tips on what you should do on this day. Thanks for watching this and yeah, take care. Bye bye. Thanks.